Right, 6th attempt at shooting this video. I'm gonna get it short. Haven't done vlogs in a while, so I'm out of practice, and I wasn't ever any good at doing short vlogs anyway. Okay, so we're gonna cut this one shorter by not doing all the bitching I was doing in the other videos. I have been failed miserably, let's say it, in short, by both of the suppliers I was trying to use to get parts for this new project. We've got half of the stuff that I need. And we're currently working through a very annoying process to get the rest of it. I've got a few options there and stuff. We'll get to that when I finally get those bits and pieces. So for this project, what we're doing is something like a Japanese capsule hotel, except instead of stacking a whole bunch of them together, we're doing a freestanding unit that has its own solar power, windows, door, yada yada yada. So it's basically a nano house. This one will be so small and light that if it wasn't for the sort of somewhat boxy size and shape, once it's complete, I should be able to basically pick it up and lift it over my head like that light. At least if I didn't have my gear in it. I have been living, most gratefully, behind my mate's bar on a patio, which you can probably see a little around-ish. There you go. On a couch. Obviously, I'm used to living outdoors, so I have all of the cool Gore-Tex bivy bags and stuff. If you follow my blogs, you'll be familiar with the gear. So I've been outside. I'm finding that living behind a bar is a little noisy, and personal space is in very, very, very short supply. So I decided to build a little capsule unit for me to live in, give myself a bit of personal space, somewhere that's warm, dry, and quiet for me to work at night, so I don't have to go work in the bar doing my art, because it's very distracting and difficult. I'm struggling with sleep and a few other issues like that. Also, as per usual, we're trying to create more ideas for you know, cheap, light, easy ways for you to build a livable structure for yourself, particularly if you're low income, or if you're really, really interested in lowering your physical footprint on a given space, your energy use, and your use of materials and stuff to create somewhere for yourself to live. Also really, really cheap. Thanks again for this one. This project is again funded by my patron, who prefers to remain anonymous, so we'll leave the name out. But cheers guys, really do appreciate it. It's awesome. We will get there with this project. I know I'm 2 days behind already, but it honestly isn't my fault. I've just been dicked around by hardware stores. What we have managed to get so far though is got my couch here, obviously, that I've been using already. My friends quite nicely gave that to me. It's looking a bit messy at the moment, but once I'm done with the major construction work and stuff, I'll be reupholstering the bits of it that are still exposed and giving it all a clean up. It's been outside for a long time, so that's why it looks a bit mucky. We've got our storage unit that I finally managed to get from the warehouse after a lot of dicking around. Not the one I was originally going to get, but this one will suffice and work quite well. And we've gotten some fence palings as our primary framing. This unit is so small and light, it doesn't really need a lot of framing. Most of the structural integrity is carried in the couch that this is all built around. So basically you get your furniture, you frame it all together into a space that you can basically sit in one spot and access and, you know, grab everything you need and store all your gear and be able to sleep and sit up and do all those kinds of things. It is a one person space, but you can fit 2 people on this couch lying down or sitting up. I have tested that. And then we just want to shell that unit basically with insulation. I'm going with XPS foam. Hopefully, if Bunnings gets off their ass and sorts me out and I can actually get the stuff that the website said they had that they don't actually in the local Bunnings store. I had some reasonable assurances from staff that they're going to make some calls. They know where the stuff is. It's in another store that's about 2.5 hours drive away if you were driving at 100 k's an hour. Like, it's in another town from where I'm at. So hopefully they'll get that sorted out. If they don't, I will switch to using ordinary polystyrene insulation foam at double the thickness I was going to be using. So it's not as good a product. It is a hell of a lot cheaper though, so there's that. But basically, yeah, my next availability, given me and my bro here, like, it's his bar, we work in the bar and all those kinds of things. We have Mondays and Tuesdays where we can afford to get in a ute and go out to hardware stores and go and get things that I need for these sorts of projects and other things that he's doing. So it's really bloody annoying when we go to those stores and they don't have the shit that the website said they did, because it's like, yo, that's time out of a very, very, very tight schedule here. So unfortunately, what was supposed to be a 4-day build project is all up total is now going to be, I'll do a bit today and then I just take a week off, and then next week hopefully get the cladding required to complete the basic stage 1 version of this project. After that, we'll be getting little picture frames. I'm going to finally get around to doing that picture frame idea I've had that I've mentioned in a few blogs, where we use cheap $2 A4 size picture frames as windows. If you can find a cheaper way to do windows than that, by means, I'm all ears. And a few other things. What we have done, obviously, is prepped this couch up ready to add framing to it and bolt things to it and stuff, which I'm going to be doing today. So tomorrow's video will show the complete product, so I don't really need to describe it too much. Just wait for tomorrow and you'll see it. We did get round to finishing up the design process and testing the new solar panel unit sitting down there. For those of you who follow the videos, I did finally get a DC buck boost converter, and they do work as well as I thought they would. So I now have a very, very efficient solar system, which either in full sunlight charges 2 devices at once very, very quickly, or in crappy sunlight can at least charge 1 device, when back in the day I couldn't even do that. So that's cool. Yeah, so finally it's 6 minutes. That's a reasonable video. That's basically our project. We're, to recap, pretty much going to do a freestanding Japanese style capsule hotel with its own windows and insulation, and the ability to be used outside as opposed to in a sort of bulk multiple unit like those things usually are. And yeah, I'll leave this one at under 10 minutes, and next video will show the basic frame of all this complete, I hope. And as I say, sorry for the delays, particularly to my people who are funding these things. I like to sort of show you guys a product toot sweet when I tell you I'm going to do it on time. But in this case, it's really circumstances out of my control, guys. I will do what I can with the time I currently have available. And thank you for sending me the cash for this project. Obviously, I haven't gone and wasted it on beer or anything. The money's still sitting there. So as soon as the hardware store gets off their arse and does the goddamn job, oh no, I'm not bitter at all. Then I will complete the project and yeah, to stage 1, and then we'll start working on all the little additional modules, like putting the heating AC unit in and the windows in, and attaching the solar panel. In this case, I'm probably going to be continuing to use this patio site for a while, and it's not very good for solar energy, so what I'll be doing is putting a 10-meter extension cable in, it might be 15 actually, that runs from the spot I'm at here to 15 meters roughly away from me on top of the bar, where we do get decent sunlight during the day reasonably, so that I can solar power the whole unit and stop using the, as you can see, AC power I'm currently using to power devices. Great thing though, as I've said in many blogs before, even when you can't use solar or choose not to, the great thing about running your entire life's electronics and energy needs off USB is that I could charge everything that I own continuously and run it off the AC for weeks at a time before I used 1 kilowatt hour, which here in New Zealand costs about 25 cents at max. So yeah, even if you're not doing the green power thing and stuff, the great thing about USB is anyone will let you use their power, because it's basically a negligible expense that very hard to even calculate if you were going to pay for it. So that's really cool. So gratitudes, while I'm being grumpy at people who fail at their job, how about some gratitudes to my friends here I've been staying with for 2 months, for giving me a place to stay in return for just a little bit of bar work and cleaning for them and stuff, which I'm very happy to do. And my patrons for funding this new project, which currently looks like a big pile of mess in a messy area, but believe me, when it's done, this will actually be a pretty cool wee unit. I'm kind of stoked. Alrighty, that's enough for me for today.